What's up, guys? I'm gonna make this super quick and super fast. Today we're breaking down Alabama 2020 season. Broke down LSU yesterday or a couple days ago. I think LSU is gonna be second in the West for the SEC. I think Alabama is gonna win the West by a landslide. So yeah, let's just get into it. Let's make this quick. Alabama is returning 7 starters on offense and 5 starters on defense. That's pretty big. Mac Jones is their quarterback. Most likely. He got a good start against Auburn. He did throw 2 pick sixes last year, and that's the reason they lost the game, but it was his first start and his first full game played, so I'm not going to hold it against him throwing 2 pick sixes against Auburn in Auburn. So it is what it is. He looked good against Michigan. Their best linebacker, who was hurt preseason last year and didn't play at all last year, Dylan Moses, is going to be back. He's pretty much the captain of the defense. Saban gives him a lot of control. He can audible out of things. He can change coverage. He has a lot of control. He's probably going to be the SEC Player of the Year on defense. So I'm expecting big things for him. Also, Alabama probably has the toughest schedule in the nation. It's pretty tough. We're going to go over the schedule here in a second, but it's pretty tough compared to Ohio State and Clemson. Vegas has Alabama's odds right now at plus 400 to win the national championship, which is third. I will be placing a bet on this. In the list, it's behind Clemson and Ohio State. I think I'm putting money on, haven't decided yet, but I think I'm putting money on Ohio State, Bama, and maybe Florida. Florida I think is 1,800, plus 1,800, so it might be a small bet on that just to see what happens. Alabama has a Heisman candidate in the running back, Najee Harris. He is a beast. He looks like Derrick Henry now. He can run over anyone. He's hurdling people. With the new quarterback, of course, he's the second best running back in the country, possibly the best. I think he's the best. A lot of people would say that Oklahoma State kid is the best running back. He's actually in the Heisman run also. He's a lot higher than Najee. But Mac Jones should start as quarterback. They do have a dual threat, 5-star best athlete quarterback coming in, but he hasn't had a start, and Saban normally goes for what has a little bit of experience. Mac Jones been behind Tua. When Tua got hurt, Mac Jones came in. Tua's brother transferred to Maryland. There's a reason. Mac Jones got to start over him when Tua got hurt, and they just brought in a 5-star dual threat quarterback. That's the future, as you could say. So it was a good transfer. Alabama did lose 2 NFL first-round wide receivers and their quarterback Tua to the Miami Dolphins. It's going to be hard to replace that. I also think if they stay healthy, they win the SEC. I think they'll go undefeated. They'll go 12-0. We're about to go over their schedule, though. Maybe one hiccup in there, but I think they're going to go 12-0, face Florida in the SEC championship. It's going to be a good game, but Bama's still going to win set by 7, 10, somewhere around there. Looking at their schedule, which is right here, this first match. So Alabama's defense is going to be questionable. Defensive line, super strong. Safety, super strong. Linebacker, super strong. Corners are going to be, they're going to be young. And USC has the quarterback and the wide receivers to put pressure on them. I don't think USC is going to be able to run the ball, which is going to make them one-dimensional, and Alabama will get that win. I'm sure when the spread comes out, if I had to guess, Bama plus -10, -12, somewhere on there. I'll probably take Bama if it's there. If it's higher than 15, I don't know who I'm going to take. I think USC wins the Pac-12 this year, so I got high hopes for them. But yeah, I don't know. Georgia State Panthers, we don't need to talk about. Georgia at home after Georgia State Panthers. I think Georgia's just rebuilding too much. I think they got a lot of holes to fill. I think Bama will have a test the first week, and they will see some of their flaws, and they'll work on them week 2, and then they'll be ready to go for Georgia. Georgia really doesn't have anybody tough until Bama, so their weaknesses aren't going to be exposed. So you're not going to know who Georgia is until that 3rd week. I think you'll know who Bama is in the 1st week. Kent State, don't need to talk about. Sorry about that. At Ole Miss. Ole Miss always plays Bama pretty tough. One of my favorite bets last year was Ole Miss plus 35 against Bama. I took that in a heartbeat. That's way too many points. And if they do something like that again this year, Lane Kiffin's the new coach, so you're going to have the Saban Lane Kiffin thing going on. If Ole Miss is getting mid-20s, upper 20 points, I'm going to take Ole Miss in that one. Arkansas, don't really, they're readjusting, new head coach. It's going to be a couple years. Mississippi State, good team, good solid team. They don't have the talent to keep up. A lot of people have Tennessee doing an upset this year, either against Bama or Florida or Georgia, but it's not going to be Bama. It is in Knoxville, but it's not going to be Bama. They might upset Georgia, but Tennessee's going to be a good team this year. Bye, of course, before LSU. That's every season. And then LSU at LSU on November 7th. I don't know if LSU's offensive line, we already went over LSU on the last video. I don't know if their offensive line and quarterback's going to be ready and gelling enough for them to win that game. Of course, LSU's going to have good running backs, good wide receivers, and a good defense, but offensive line and quarterback are huge question marks for LSU this year. UT Martin is a good bye game, cupcake game, whatever you want to call it. But looking at this schedule, you have to have cupcake games. You can't go LSU, A&M, Auburn. Yeah, you got to have something in between those. So UT Martin works. The good thing is A&M at home. A&M's going to be tough. I see Bama winning by about 14, 15 points in that one. But A&M's going to upset. I think A&M might beat LSU. I think A&M could be the second best team in the West. I'm putting them at 3. And then we got Auburn. Alabama's got Auburn the final week, of course, in the Iron Bowl at home. And then SEC Championship, which I believe will be against Florida. Florida just has to play LSU and Georgia. Those are the two big games for them. Georgia, of course, has to play Florida, has to play Auburn, has to play Alabama. So I think schedule-wise, it shapes up better for Florida than Georgia. And I think Florida's going to win the East. I think Alabama wins the West. I think they go into a matchup and Bama wins by 7, 8, 10 points, somewhere around there. Now, when it gets to the playoffs, of course, I think it's every year so far, except maybe the first couple of years, but the last 2 years for sure, that 4 seed, everyone thinks the 4 seed should be in there until they play the 1 seed, and then they just look horrible. So hopefully... I'm hoping Bama will be in the 1 spot. If they go undefeated, Bama will be in the 1 spot just because of their schedule. But I'm hoping Bama's in the 1 spot. That way Ohio State and Clemson can play again the 2-3 spot, and the 4 spot, maybe Oklahoma, maybe USC, maybe Florida if they keep it close and go undefeated in the regular season. There's a lot of options there. Not Texas. Oklahoma's probably the only chance out of the Big 12. Big 10's going to be Ohio State. They're probably going to make everybody look dumb. And, yeah, so that's the breakdown. I see them going 12-0. SEC Championship will make it 13-0 into the playoffs. As long as they stay healthy. Last year they had way too many injuries early in the season and in the middle of the season. So if they stay healthy, I think they go 12-0, 13-0 SEC, and they should be in the 1 spot for the playoff. I will be putting money on them at the, I think it was plus 400. Yeah, I will be putting money on them at plus 400, and I will be putting money on Najee Harris for the Heisman. So yeah, we'll get into those when Diamond Jim comes on about the bets, preseason bets. We're gonna look at probably 5 teams over under wins. We're gonna look at Heisman, and we're gonna look at national championship bets. So we're gonna break that down, look at those bets, and go from there. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoy. Stay tuned for the rest, and hopefully we all make money this year. Take care.